The last thing I expected that morning was to witness a bear doing backstrokes in my neighbor's luxury spa, while she screamed about property lines and spiritual energy. The bear was back, and this time, it had found its way into her hot tub. From my kitchen window, while sipping coffee and enjoying a quiet morning, I heard the unmistakable shriek of Marlene Dobbins, the relentless head of the Whispering Pines Homeowners Association. A young black bear was gleefully splashing around in the very hot tub where she often perched with binoculars, monitoring property lines and unauthorized patio furniture. She screamed about that cursed fence, with a tone sharp enough to etch glass, her finger jabbing toward my 8-foot privacy fence. If I could see the woods, I would have known this beast was coming. When sheriff's deputies showed up, they found claw marks on her chaise lounge and a foam pool toy half-eaten in the frothing water. But the real story wasn't the bear, it was the months-long fence feud that had consumed our neighborhood, all sparked by Marlene's obsession with micromanaging everyone's lives. My name's Ethan Caldwell. I moved to Whispering Pines 3 years ago, hoping to escape noise, traffic, and the soul-sapping grind of city life. As a freelance developer who worked remotely, I longed for peace, clear skies, and the occasional evening of stargazing from my deck. What I got instead was a front-row seat to the Marlene show. My first morning in the neighborhood, I found massive bear droppings in my yard, evidence of an active wildlife corridor running straight through my property. After consulting with wildlife officials and obtaining all the necessary county permits, I built an 8-foot cedar privacy fence to keep the bears out. It smelled great, looked professional, and did the job. Unfortunately, it also obscured 23% of Marlene's cherished mountain view. I know the exact figure because she had a surveyor measure it and sent me a laminated report. Marlene Dobbins was 67, with a voice like gravel in a blender and the laser focus of a hawk eyeing a mouse. She'd been HOA president for over a decade, ran the local garden club with military precision, and had self-published a trilogy of memoirs on neighborhood civility. Her latest was called Shared Horizons, The Fight for Visual Equity. It began innocently enough. Handwritten notes slipped under my door. Dear neighbor, one read, your fence disrupts the shared aesthetic harmony. Please reconsider. I ignored it. That was my first mistake. Soon came the formal HOA citations, complete with embossed letterhead. Offenses included visual obstruction, excessive verticality, and my personal favorite, unauthorized wildlife interference zone. She held a special board meeting titled Combating Vertical Aggression in Suburban Design. I didn't attend. I was busy replacing a motion sensor light destroyed by a curious raccoon. According to my neighbor, the meeting featured a 50-slide presentation about how fences encourage social decay and wildlife rebellion. When bureaucracy failed her, Marlene resorted to hands-on sabotage. I caught her at dawn with a metal yardstick, muttering about energy blockages while measuring my fence posts. Another day, she lobbed decorative pebbles at it, claiming to be testing acoustic integrity. When I called her out, she declared she was conducting an ecological sound study. Eventually, I received a certified letter: remove the fence within 30 days or face $300 daily fines for visual aggression and territorial hostility. Signed, of course, Marlene Dobbins, HOA president and protector of neighborhood symmetry. What she didn't know was that I had every document in order: county-approved wildlife barrier permits, wildlife biologist endorsements, and even a thank you letter from the sheriff's department for helping reduce animal-human encounters. None of it mattered to Marlene. She filed a report with the sheriff claiming my fence infringed on her constitutional right to scenic clarity. The deputy who came out couldn't stop chuckling. Then came poetic justice, in the form of a 200-pound bear. 6 months earlier, Marlene had removed her own bear-resistant fencing, calling it nature shaming. She replaced it with a dainty wrought iron rail that might stop a rabbit. The bear vaulted it with ease and plunged into her hot tub. My wildlife camera caught everything: Marlene, in a fuchsia robe, shrieking and flapping a pool net as the bear lounged like it was on vacation. Her dash across the patio, barefoot and flailing, became instant neighborhood legend. Someone uploaded the footage to a local Facebook group. Within hours, it was shared to a page called HOA Horror Stories and went viral. News outlets picked it up. Bear Necessities, HOA Gone Wild, aired that evening. The county launched an investigation. Not only had Marlene removed her safety barriers without permits, she'd also been fining others for taking safety precautions she had personally refused. The consequences came hard. She was fined $3,000 for unlawful fence removal, $2,000 for creating a hazardous wildlife attraction, and $1,500 for false claims against me. But the financial penalties were only the beginning. At the next HOA meeting, the vice president, Harold Blake, a man clearly fed up, called for a vote of no confidence. The room was packed. Residents took turns recounting Marlene's abuses: a retiree fined for having solar lights, a woman ticketed for excessively cheerful flowerpots, and a couple warned for joyful noise after laughing too loud one summer night. The vote to remove her was unanimous. She lost her gavel, her access to the clubhouse, and her aura of authority. She rose, trembled with rage, and warned of plummeting property values and creeping chaos. Then came a cherry on top: animal control cited her for endangering wildlife. Apparently, the bear had ingested chlorinated water and needed veterinary care. Marlene was ordered to pay $4,000 in medical expenses and was banned from owning open water features. She tried paying with a check labeled, "Victim of Fences Tyranny," in the memo line. The bank returned it. When forced to write a standard check, her trembling hand made the signature unreadable. The court clerk said she mumbled something about eco-fascism before storming off in a billowing robe of defeat. She wasn't finished. 2 days after her fall, Marlene attempted to rally the neighborhood with a "Freedom from Fences" event at the park. Flyers screamed about surveillance culture and authoritarian barriers. 3 people showed up, 2 thought it was Tai Chi, and the third left when she compared my fence to the Iron Curtain. Still determined, she began patriot patrols, pacing my property at sunrise with a clipboard, narrating into a recorder. Day 14. The wooden wall of shame remains. Birds are avoiding it. Local harmony is at risk. I have her on camera trying to train her poodle, Sir Pickles, to bark at the fence. The dog refused. Eventually, she filed a complaint with the FCC claiming my fence was blocking harmonic vibrations critical to her chakra calibration. The FCC politely advised her to seek counseling. Word got around. Baristas handed her drinks to go, her salon suddenly had no openings, and clerks fled her in grocery aisles. The final meltdown came at 3 a.m. when she tried spray painting "Fences equals fascism" on my boards. Only the glow-in-the-dark paint spelled out "Faces quail fashion" due to her poor aim. Police found her glowing, furious, and ranting about nature's truth. Officers, clearly relieved, finally arrested her. Charges included vandalism, trespassing, false reporting, and disturbing wildlife. The judge, who lived nearby and had his own Marlene tale, sentenced her to 200 hours of community service, specifically, bear safety education. Her first assignment, teaching about effective wildlife fencing at the community center she once ruled. At the podium, reading from a script on proper fence height, Marlene's voice cracked. When she announced 8 feet as the county's recommendation, someone started a slow clap. The room erupted. Her face flushed violet as applause echoed around the very walls where she once wielded power. Justice had never felt so therapeutic.